Welcome back. An audit of the financial statements of the Gibraltar Football Association for the year ended 31st of May 2014 highlights significant deficiencies in internal control. The audit findings report presented by Baker Tilly last November, of which GBC has obtained a copy, notes that an inaccurate list of credit card holders was being kept, as previous authorised card holders' cards were still active after they'd resigned from their posts. This and the fact there were no controls to reconcile card transactions could, in the auditor's view, lead to unauthorised transactions taking place. Other deficiencies included the lack of a formal budget and procurement process and the absence of documentary records of funds received by the GFA in respect of club registration fees and ticket sales. The association, according to the auditors, was also in breach of PAYE regulations as tax and social insurance contributions had not been paid by the due date. The financial statements revealed that the GFA's income was primarily derived from UEFA. It received over £900,000 from the Hat-Trick Solidarity Programme and £1.1 million from other UEFA funding, making a total of just over £2 million. Approached for comment by GBC, the GFA has said the audit findings report is a private and confidential document which served as guidance for improving financial processes and procedures. The GFA says the report states it's been prepared for the sole use of the GFA and must not be disclosed to any third party or quoted or referred to without written consent. It says it's therefore surprised and disappointed that GBC should make use of it in breach of the auditor's conditions. The GFA goes on to say it's already embarked on carrying out the improvements laid out in the report, including earlier this year the appointment of an experienced finance director. It says it will continue to improve its internal processes and procedures and seek the advice of auditors and other financial experts. GBC decided to publish a story because we consider it to be in the public's interest. Outline planning permission has been granted for the redevelopment of the old police barracks site at a meeting of the Development and Planning Commission. The workings of the DPC itself came under discussion too, with the Commission having sought legal advice after objectors to the proposal for superyacht berthing at Marina Bay challenged the DPC for the chance to make further representations on the project.
The proposal to redevelop the old police barracks on Castle Road had previously been approved on the condition that the architects review the necessity of demolishing one of the buildings. However, it's not been deemed possible to retain the building or even just its facade for financial considerations, with the applicants now granted outline planning permission and permission to demolish the building. The proposal allows for the creation of 64 residential units and a public square, with Deputy Chief Minister Dr. Joseph Garcia commenting at the meeting that Gibraltar stood to gain more than it would lose. The DPC has received 500 representations on the proposal for a superyacht marina and apartments on stilts at Marina Bay. Questions arose today as to the Commission's processes, with objectors having called to see and comment on additional documents, which the applicants say were submitted specifically in reply to their objections.
It's been a standard process that applicants submit their reactions to objections. Some are received before the meeting, some are received on the actual meeting. We've never been challenged in the last 4 years, but in the last case we have. And basically he's addressing issues that the objectors raise, reinforcing it or emphasizing it or reassessing it. In this case, there's been legal representation questioning that they haven't had sight of that, and in the advice from the legal advice from the Attorney General Chambers, they feel it's fair that the objectors should have a sight of, so that the Commission can receive more informed information from the objectors and the applicant and make a decision later on.
So what precedent does this set, or what questions does this raise about the processes for dealing with this kind of situation in future?
Well, obviously we have to be more careful if there's going to be a challenge. I mean, we've never had it before in the 4 years, so in this case we've reacted to apply the situation where the objectors will be allowed to view those documents. Obviously, in future situations, we'll need to question the applicant. Is this something that you are reacting to or something totally new? And the applicant and the objectors now have to fine-tune the way they make representations.
The super yacht marina proposal has been adjourned till the next DPC meeting, with 2 weeks allowed for people to read all the documentation and submit any further representations.
Further improvements have been carried out to the Upper Rock as part of a £2.5 million initiative set to be completed later this summer. Among the refurbished areas are Genoese Battery and the Queen's Lookout, which have been cleared of rubbish, restored and made safer for visitors.
Since the Upper Rock refurbishment programme was announced last year, a number of areas have been restored in a joint effort by the Departments of the Environment, Tourism and Heritage. Now, with spring bringing better weather at last, the latest improvements have been unveiled.
We've completed the first phase of the refurbishment of Mediterranean Steps. We've also done extra works to English Way to have those both open. We've completed the works to Genoese Battery, bar interpretation and other signs that will be coming up over the next few weeks. And what's still got to be completed is Anglian Way, where we are going to be putting a bridge across one of the areas, and also the skywalk at the top of the rock. In both Genoese Battery and Anglian Way, we've cleared a lot of the old military buildings of rubbish, rubble and all sorts of things, and we've made them safe, also made some precautions so people don't throw rubbish again, but essentially we've vastly increased the number of areas available for people to have a walk and enjoy.
Features to be completed include a suspension bridge at Royal Anglian Way and a glass-floored skywalk extension to the viewing platform at the top of the rock. Signs are also going up to mark the thematic trails for history buffs, nature lovers, monkey spotters and thrill seekers.
Well, most of them are open, with the exception of Anglian Way, as I explained, because we're still building there. But we've got the nature trail, we've got the history trail and so on, and these signs will be appearing to orientate people, but there are already a couple of signs which indicate which areas people can go. So essentially they're all virtually open. And there's also, of course, an app which is downloadable called Upper Rock Paths, which already has a lot of information and will be upgraded as we develop the project.
Decades worth of rubbish and rubble has been removed, with environmentally friendly and heritage-compatible materials used to refurbish paths, including that linking Genoese Battery to the road above and between the Queen's Lookout and Royal Anglian Way. The government will also be increasing the security presence on the Upper Rock and is encouraging the public to look after these areas.
Yes, we will have an increased presence. People already have seen the Environmental Protection Unit driving around in their vehicle. So they're around. We're also increasing security presence, and there'll be members of staff who will be increasingly on the Upper Rock, keeping an eye on things, encouraging people to enjoy it, but in a respectable way and in a user-friendly way.
It's hoped that by August you'll be able to traverse most of the Upper Rock barely setting foot on a road, giving tourists and locals alike a new way to explore Gibraltar's nature and heritage.
Air links between Gibraltar and the southwest of England were established for the first time on Monday, with the arrival of the inaugural EasyJet scheduled flight from Bristol. The new route is a year-round service which will operate on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays.
At a news conference, EasyJet's UK commercial manager, Ali Gaywood, said the airline expects the Bristol-Gibraltar route to attract around 39,000 visitors in its first year. If the numbers on the first return flight are anything to go by, the omens are good.
It was excellent, absolutely excellent. I mean, it's 156 seats on board. We had 147 passengers, and what was particularly interesting for a new route like this was we had 108 people booked for the return flight to Bristol. Okay, we have a number of students who are already studying in the region who are going back after the Easter holidays, but I think it just shows the level of pent-up demand for the route.
For me, it was important as well to talk to the passengers and find out where they were coming from, why they're coming to Gibraltar, if they're going on elsewhere. So it was very good, very encouraging.
And what was the general feeling as a result of those conversations? Why do people want to come here?
A real mixed bag, actually, but it was good to see that there was a lot of people coming to Gibraltar itself on leisure. I mean, it's great that people also choose this as a point to, to the area, to accessing the area. But a lot of people, for example, there was a gentleman who'd served here in the army 38 years ago, and his wife had bought him a week in Gibraltar as a present for his birthday, so he's coming back to see, where he lived years ago. There were people who come out here regularly sailing and were coming out for a terra firma holiday, as the lady puts it. So there was a real mixed bag. Business people on board, a few students, a few Gibraltarians as well. So, looks promising.
What we are seeing now is the fruition of the hard work that's been undertaken by our government, initially by my friend, my colleague Neil Costa, the previous Minister for Tourism, and he, and together with the GTB team, worked very hard in sowing the seeds to make sure that this new route was possible, and now that it's come to fruition, so it's very, very exciting for us.
The government says its overriding aim continues to be to attract increasing numbers of visitors to the Rock, and with this in mind, will devote its energies and attention in the coming months to consolidate last year's positive tourism trends.
That's all for News Review. For more, you can head over to our website, gbc.gi, and follow our regular updates on our Twitter and Facebook page as well. Thank you for watching. From the team, good night.